If the same problem lands on your desk for the second time, it is no longer just an interruption. It is information. The missed handover, the customer complaint, the late invoice, the job that's just been reworked, the team member asking the same question, and then the owner stepping in again to save the day. The first time may be an event. The second time is the beginning of a pattern. The third time is usually a system you have not built, a standard you have not made clear, or an accountability gap that you may have allowed to remain. And every time you fix only the immediate symptom, you teach the business that the owner will absorb the cost. I'm Phil Badura, Action Coach Business Steps. Today, I want to help you stop solving the same problem twice. I'll say that again. Today, I want to help you stop solving the same problem twice. If we look at the difference between containing a system and resolving a root cause, how to choose the right thing underneath the noise, and how successful owners apply their attention, focus, and energy so positive change actually sticks. Because business success is not measured by how many fires you can put out, it's measured by how few preventable fires the business creates and how well your people respond when something is genuinely unexpected happens. A symptom is what you can see. The delivery is late, cash is tight, quality is slipped, a customer is angry, a deadline was missed. The root cause is the condition that allowed the outcome to happen. The delivery may be late because the supplier failed, or because nobody confirmed the lead time, or because sales promised a date without checking capacity, or maybe because the schedule had no visible owner. Cash may be tight because sales are down, or because jobs are not invoiced at completion, or because data follow-up is inconsistent, maybe because margins are too low, or because growth is consuming working capital. This is important. Dealing with the symptom is not wrong. If a customer is waiting, you contain the issue. If there's a safety risk, you stop the risk. If payroll is due, you manage the cash. Responsible leaders stabilise the situation. But containment is not correction. Sending the missing parts by express freight may save today's customer. It does not fix the handover that missed the furs or the part in the first place. Calling one late payer may help Friday's bank balance. It does not create a debtor control process. Covering an absent employee may get today's work done. It does not solve unclear cross-training or chronic performance. Successful owners can hold two thoughts at once. What must we do now? And the second thought must be, what must change so this is less likely to happen again? Two very different things. There's a reason capable owners fall into this trap. They are good or even great solving problems. They have experience, they know the customers, they can make a fast decision. When they step in, pressure drops, everyone feels relief. However, that relief is dangerous because it rewards the rescue. Team learns to escalate. The owner learns to feel useful. The business gets through, but it learns nothing. Then the owner says, I have told them before. While the team says, we did what we always do. We took it to the owner. The hidden cost is bigger than the repair. It includes management time, lost margin, customer trust, team confidence, delayed strategic work, and the mental load that follows the owner home. The owner appears productive, but their best attention, focus, and energy are being consumed by yesterday's failure instead of tomorrow's business. This is where attention, focus, and energy become a leadership discipline. Attention is what you notice. Do you notice only the latest complaint, or do you notice that 4 complaints started at the same handover point? Focus is what you choose to stay with. Do you chase 5 explanations, or do you choose the process step most strongly connected to the failures and investigate it properly. Energy is what you invest to create change. Do you give another speech, or do you build the checklist, train the people, assign the owner, measure compliance, and review the result? The right thing is rarely fix everything. It is the highest leverage cause you can influence right now. I use 4 tests. Does it repeat? Does it affect more than one customer, person, job, or number? Can we influence the cause? And if we correct it, will it improve time, team, money, or systems in a meaningful way? If the answer is yes, it deserves leadership attention. Here is a practical method that you can use. Step 1, stabilize. Protect the customer, the team, the cash, or the safety outcome right now. Step 2, define the problem with facts. Not communication is poor. Let's say 3 completed jobs were not invoiced within 2 working days. Step 3 is trace the process. Where should the work have moved? Where did it actually stop? Use evidence, dates, job records, CRM stages, photos, numbers, and conversations. So trace the process. Step 4, ask why until you reach something that you can manage. 5 whys can help, but do not force 5. Stop when you reach a controllable cause, not a convenient person to blame. Why was the invoice late? Accounts did not receive completion. Why? The supervisor thought the technician sent it. Why? The closeout responsibility was never defined. Now we have something to fix. Step 5, correct and standardise. Build the small or the smallest useful control, a namer or a named owner, a checklist, a CRM trigger, a definition of done, a training step, or an escalation rule. So correct and standardise. Step 6 is assign ownership. A system owned by everybody is usually owned by nobody. So assign the ownership as an accountability rule. Step 7, measure reoccurrence. Review it next week and again in 30 days. Did the failure rate fall? Is the system being used? Has the problem moved somewhere else? That last step turns a good intention into management. Let me make this real with an anonymized composite from the emerging owner profile. Someone like Brian or Mary. And the emerging owner profile is about a business that is starting out and getting established. The owners are someone like Brian or Mary. So technically strong, more than 2 years in a business, a growing hands-on team, and still personally protecting quality. The visible problem was rework. Each time a job came back, the owner corrected the work, reminded the team member, and checked the next few jobs personally. The symptom was handled, the pattern remained. In coaching, we shifted attention away from who made the latest mistake and onto at what point does the work become unclear. The pattern sat in the handover. Sales notes were inconsistent, site requirements lived in the owner's head, and nobody could clearly describe what ready to start meant. The right thing was not a bigger lecture about caring. It was a simple pre-start standard. Scope confirmed, customer expectation confirmed, materials checked, job owner named, and exceptions raised before the work began. Focus went into one handover. Energy went to using it, coaching it, and reviewing exceptions weekly. That is the shift an emerging owner must make, from being the final quality control system to building a quality control system the team can follow. Now, consider an established owner like Peter or Sally. Over 5 years in business, 5 or more staff, more than $1 million in revenue, but still the decision point for everything. The presenting problem was constant interruption. Managers kept asking for approvals. The owner's fix, or quick fix, was to answer each question. When we traced the pattern, the issue was not simply that the manager lacked initiative. They had never been given clear decision rights, and sometimes the owner praised initiative. Other times, a different decision was criticised after the event. So the safest behaviour was to ask. So the root cause work was to define 3 levels: decisions the manager owns, decisions they can make without an agreed limit, and decisions that they must be escalated. We also changed the escalation question from what should I do to what do you recommend and why. Attention moved from the volume of interruptions to the categories underneath them. Focus went to clarity and capability. Energy went into coaching the decision process, not making or taking the decision back. That is how an owner stops being the answer to every problem and starts building leaders. Think about a business couple like Dennis and Anne. The repeat symptom was cash flow stress, and every surprise triggered another urgent conversation at home. One blames slow sales, the other blamed spending. Both were reacting to the bank balance. When we looked underneath it, several causes were feeding the same symptoms. Jobs completed but not invoiced promptly. Deposits not consistently requested. No 13-week rolling cash view, and no agreed time to make business decisions together. The right thing was not to win the argument. It was to create visibility and rhythm. We focused on a weekly control meeting, work completed, invoices due to be raised, debtors, committed payments, cash outlook, owners, and dates. The meeting gave the problem a proper place, so it did not have to live at the dinner table. For a business couple, root cause discipline does more than improve the system. It separates the issue from the person and protects the relationship from repeat business pressure. For an exit-ready owner like Wayne or Cherie, repeated questions expose buyer risk. If quoting customer history or operational judgment lives with the owner, the symptom is interruption. The root cause is undocumented knowledge and undeveloped leadership. The right thing is to capture decision rules, strengthen management ownership, and test what happens when the owner steps away. A buyer does not pay a premium for a business that must keep borrowing the previous owner's brain. For an overloaded manager like James or Sarah, repeated missed deadlines may look like an attitude problem when the root cause is vague or vague outcomes, no visible owner, and no follow-up rhythm. Weekly commitments board, outcome, owner, date, status, and next action creates a better conversation than another emotional reminder. Different avatars, same leadership principle, do not become more efficient at carrying the symptom, change the conditions that keep producing it. This is why root cause thinking is a key trait of successful business owners. First, curiosity before blame. Ask what happens in the process before deciding who failed. Accountability matters, but blame closes information down. Second, discipline with facts. Strong owners separate evidence from assumption. They define the problem clearly enough to know whether it improves. Third, courage. Sometimes the root cause is an owner habit. Unclear instructions, inconsistent standards, rescuing too quickly, avoiding a performance conversation, tolerating a poor fit customer, or refusing to look at margin. Fourth, ownership without heroics. Successful owners take responsibility for the business design without personally doing every task. Fifth, consistency. A checklist used for 3 days is not a system. A meeting held only when things go wrong is not a rhythm. The new behaviour must be trained, observed, measured, and reinforced. And sixth, learning. The aim is not a business with no problems. Growth creates new problems. The aim is a business that does not waste the lesson. This week, look for repeat problems through 4 lenses. The first lens is time. What interruption keeps taking the owner or the manager away from the higher value work? Count it, categorize it, find the process feeding it. The second one is team. Where are expectations, decision rights, capability, or follow through unclear? Do not just ask people to take ownership. Define the outcome and the authority that comes with it. The third one is money. What repeat issues erodes margin or cash? Discounting, rework, late invoicing, slow debtors, poor job costing, or the wrong customer mix. Follow the number back to the behaviour and the process. And then the final one is systems. What knowledge, standard, trigger, checklist, meeting, or measure is missing? Build the smallest system that makes the right behaviour easier and the failure more visible. Then choose one root cause, not 7, just one. Your attention identifies the repeating pattern. Your focus chooses the leverage point, and your energy installs and reinforces the change. That is working on the right things. That's what it's all about. Here is my challenge for the next 7 days. Keep a repeat problem register. Every time you think, not this again, write it down. Record the problem and in the immediate containment, how often it has occurred, the cost in time or money, and then the process step where it began. At the end of the week, choose the one repeat problem with the greatest impact. Run the 7 steps: stabilise, define, trace, correct, standardise, own, and then measure. Then put a 30-day review date in your diary. Do not aim for a perfect manual. Aim for one clear control that your team can understand and use. You have already paid for the first mistake in time, money, stress, or customer trust. Do not pay for the same lesson again because the root cause was left untouched. If repeat problems are keeping you trapped in firefighting, schedule a business review meeting with me. We will look at your time, team, money, and systems, separate the loud symptoms from the real constraints, and identify the right thing that deserves your attention, focus, and energy right now. Stop being the person who repeatedly saves the business from its systems. Become the leader who builds better systems into the business. So take action, get results.